crazy. The overwhelming pressure on our energetic body caused by the meeting with our twin flame and everything this brings to surface to be cleared causes our Kundalini to rise faster than it otherwise would. Meeting our twin flame is already a very intense event, and having our Kundalini spontaneously awaken on top of it can be very unsettling and often hits us with no advance warning. We have all, including the undersigned, acted in ways we hope we could take back when hit with the Kundalini fire. We may for a while be unable to process what is happening to us properly and become overloaded. When we are hit by all these energies and the deep knowing of who our twin flame is, they are often the first and only person we turn to since we are now acutely feeling them energetically. We know undoubtedly that they have something to do with the energies and believe that because of their magnitude they must be feeling something too. This is also the moment where many become just a bit too obsessive about their twin flame, resulting in some desperate behaviors. We should however keep in mind that our twin flame may not have had their spiritual awakening yet, and even if they had they might not be able to make any sense of it, and may be just as freaked out as we are, unable or unwilling to share what is happening to them. Chasing them and coming at them with all the spiritual definitions and twin flame theories will only push them further away. It is very important at this point to do whatever it is that you need to do to move the energy along, write, sing, howl at the moon, run in the meadows, cry or laugh like a maniac, see an energy healer and do whatever it takes to find some solid ground to stand on. You are doing great and probably just as well as anyone would in your situation. You are not alone, you will not become a danger to yourself and you will not lose your mind, although it may feel so. Personally, I found that learning to channel the energy by being attuned to Reiki helped me ground myself and approach the incoming energy in a much more balanced manner. I love writing and found that channeling messages from universal consciousness provided me with an outlet to express the new ideas and the humongous love that I was feeling. My Kundalini awakening, the days leading up to it. Prior to my Kundalini awakening I had been running without really realizing that I was the runner from my twin flame for almost 3 years. The story of how I became the runner can be found in one of my previous blog posts, The Folly of Running from Love. As time went on I rarely thought of him, and when I did it was with great confusion about how something that had felt so divine and so grand and right could go so terribly wrong and finish before it had even properly began. Meeting him had forced me to grow and mature spiritually and emotionally, but even then, in the deep of the night, I often felt empty and alone and an existential crisis was brewing within me. 3 months short of 3 years after our last encounter I was settled in a new country with the same long-term partner I had repeatedly tried to leave upon meeting my twin flame. I had an exciting new job, new house, new friends and a new life with lots of international travel, yet I felt empty on the inside. One night out of nowhere I was hit with the most devastating, heartfelt feeling of loss. Was this really my life? Is this really what it's supposed to be like? Is this all? I remember lying on my bed crying, and although I suspected that God rarely looked in my direction, I turned to him in prayer and asked him for help. I said I was ready to accept whatever was in my highest good and I promised that whatever it was I would follow it, honor it and do my best to accept it, no questions asked. Obviously I had no idea what I was committing myself to. Only a week or so later in April 2005 I was driving home from work in the middle lane of a 3-lane motorway. Suddenly a car appeared out of nowhere next to me on my left and veered straight towards the front of my car. To avoid him, I turned the steering wheel sharply towards the lane on my right and to my horror saw in my mirror that there was another car there, almost parallel to me and that I was going to hit it. It all happened very quickly, but in my mind I was swearing at the idiot who cut me off and whose fault it was that I was now going to die. Then I became fully conscious, aware of myself as an observer of my mind chatter. My mind was afraid of dying, but the observer wasn't. The observer was not bound by time, space, form. Nothing could hurt, scare or kill it. This observer knew only love, peace and serenity. I seemed to spiral into another dimension where I saw myself with the man I was about to be shown as my twin flame. Not as two individuals, but as one being filled with a blissful vibration of love, bathed in intense light. Just like the first time he kissed me, I could feel the touch of his lips on my forehead burning my third eye. We were entangled as one, like a tree wrapped around itself, in an upwards rising double helix of love surrounded by blissful silence and magical sparkles, out of time and space. I don't know how long this moment lasted, but it felt like a slice of eternity. Imageska 6 GBSLZ. Suddenly I heard the noise of a car braking. I had no idea who was braking. Was it me or the other car? While I am convinced to this day that humanly I could have not avoided an accident, I was still in one piece when I opened my eyes. It was over in the blink of an eye, but it felt like forever. My whole life was in that moment. Love is all that there is. Nothing else matters. The kiss on my forehead was a kiss of life, not of death. It was a welcome home, not a goodbye. It was a new beginning, not an end. It was the reality, not the illusion. I was confused and shaking when I got home. My mind could not process what had happened. I could not for the life in me understand what this man, whom I had only known for a few weeks a couple of years ago, was doing swirling up in what looked like a DNA helix with me, entwined into me as if we were just one being in love with itself. We hope this channel has helped you discover where to start on your actual paths. It's a good karma to put a like, subscribe, share, and leave your suggestion in the field below. With all the love to you.